Frank Collins was a 72-year-old retired schoolteacher living in a modest apartment in London. For most of his life, he had lived simply, valuing lessons over luxuries, children over credit cards, and kindness over consumption. Yet, on this brisk autumn morning, he carried more than just a cane and a modest wallet. He carried a secret hope. He had saved every penny from his modest pension and a modest inheritance from his late wife. After decades of frugal living, he now possessed a single dream: to walk into one last luxury store before he died, to buy something beautiful with dignity, not desperation. That day, he chose Le Chateau des Luxe, one of the most prestigious boutiques in Mayfair. His heart trembled as he dressed in his best: clean blazer, pressed shirt, worn but polished shoes. He rehearsed words, "Just looking, please," and with that he walked in. But the moment he crossed the threshold, the atmosphere shifted. Two sales associates glanced at him, one with surprise, the other with disguised disdain. He approached a display of fine leather scarves, gently touched the fabric, and then turned to greet a clerk. Instead of a courteous greeting, he was met with a tight smile and a cold question. "Can I help you find something, sir?" He nodded softly. "Yes, I'd like to see that." Another associate interrupted, whispering. The older clerk's expression hardened. The word pensioner floated between the staff members as they exchanged glances. The manager approached. Without asking, he said, "Sir, I'm sorry. Our customers expect a different atmosphere here." Frank looked confused. His heart sank. The manager continued, "We prefer clients who appreciate our brand properly. Perhaps this isn't the best place for you." Frank's polite "thank you" felt like a surrender. Tears welled up in his eyes as he walked out of the store. Dignity wilted in his chest. The next morning, something changed. Frank woke earlier than usual. He counted his savings again. They were still there. He thought about the rejection, the humiliation. His resolve sharpened. "I have dignity," he whispered to himself, "and today I will show it." He dressed carefully, his best suit, his cane cleaned, his briefcase organized. But this time he wasn't shopping for an accessory. He was coming to claim his dignity back. He returned to Le Chateau des Luxe. Staff remembered him, his face still worn with yesterday's hurt. But today he walked in with purpose. The manager met him at the door. "Sir, you again?" Frank nodded. "Yes." The manager raised an eyebrow. "Well, since you're back." Frank opened his briefcase. Inside were not scarves or wallets, but stacks of crisp bills and a checkbook. "I'm here to place an order every item in that window display. All scarves, coats, accessories. I want it delivered tomorrow." Silence filled the store. Staff froze. The manager stuttered, "Sir, that's a substantial order." Frank smiled. "I saved carefully. I postponed vacations, steps down on meals, simple life. And you thought I wasn't worthy of your store. Now I will be your biggest customer today." He placed a check on the counter and walked out calmly. Shock, apology, and a lesson. That afternoon, the store called Frank. The manager apologized, voice trembling. "Sir, we underestimated you. We misjudged. Please forgive us." Frank replied gently, "I forgive you, but I also ask you to remember this. Don't judge people by how they look. Wounds cut deeper when dignity is denied." The gift he cherished. At home, Frank opened the packages. He wore a beautiful silk scarf, the softest he'd ever felt. But more precious than that was a letter he enclosed in each coat and scarf. The note read, "To the one who sells with judgment, I have dignity. I saved this. Today I bought what I could, not because I needed it, but because I chose self-respect." He handed scarves to his former students, donated coats to shelters. Everything he bought became a lesson in dignity. His act spread by word of mouth into the local news. Headlines read, "Retired teacher stuns London luxury store after being rejected." A bigger change. Invitations came. Schools invited him to speak. Media covered his story not for revenge, but for character. Frank said he'd rather speak about respect. 1 year later, the manager of that store approached him, not to serve him, but to thank him. He offered Frank a lifetime discount and asked for forgiveness again, publicly. Frank gave a short speech. "I did not need luxury. I wanted it to reclaim self-worth. But the truth is, dignity isn't bought. It's lived. Every person deserves respect, especially those who carry nothing but kindness, motivation, and reflection." Frank lived modestly for decades. He never wasted money on extravagance. But that rejection, they tried to strip him of dignity, and he refused. He used his savings not to show wealth, but to reclaim pride. His story resonated with readers in the US, UK, Canada, Australia, especially those who live quietly, judged wrongly, and overlooked repeatedly. People reached out. "You inspire me to stand tall. Your story gave me courage to apply for that job. You taught me never to be ashamed of modest means." The last gift. Frank passed away peacefully at age 80. His funeral was modest, a coat rack instead of floral wreaths. Attendees brought scarves and jackets in his memory, donated to homeless shelters. His final words written in his diary were, "Respect is not a privilege. It is a right. Even if you carry nothing but a cane, your heart is worthy." Moral of the story: don't judge a person by their appearance or status. Confidence and self-respect are the strongest currencies. When someone rejects you, it might be the universe giving you a chance to reclaim your dignity in a bigger way. Kindness and grace always outlast arrogance.